What is up, party people? All right, let's see who is here in the chat. What is up, Davros? What's up, Nate? What up, Nike? What up, Grizz? What up, Darkman? What up, No Name? What up, RT? What's up, Peter? What up, SE Montreal? How you doing, sir? What up, GPS? Let's see who else is here. What's up, Andrea? What up, Matrix? That is it. What up, Soul? What up, Skyfly? How you doing? What up, Sean? Sucks to hear you're in an office. What up, Jose? What up, Slick? How you doing? For all you guys who want to, what up, Secret Tree? Trying to get the link back out there again. Sent it. If you guys want to join the panel, we are. The panel is at the Discord server. You guys may know by now. I'm putting the link out there right now. For those of you who got here and didn't get it. All right, so just pretty much an open topic today, but one of the main things that I wanted to discuss is where our governments are putting their efforts in a nutshell. What's up, Twisted? I was actually, this is all kind of sidetracked me in the sense of what I was actually researching. One of the things that I've noticed is that we put all this emphasis on war and on all these events that are happening overseas, when in reality, like, the real issues are here. I was watching a podcast last night, and they were talking. A guy was on the podcast talking about all the shenanigans that are happening overseas, and yet here, we have a bigger issue. Personally, for myself, it is definitely something I look into, definitely something that matters, because I live in California. The issue basically being whether it be immigration, whether it be drug smuggling, whether it be means of life, and the solutions that they use, that they're telling us for these things. Like I said, it's going to be an open topic, so we can go anywhere with it. I don't really care. You guys know that. But that is kind of where my mind's at right now. It's what I've been watching and looking at. So hopefully you guys have an opinion on it. I don't know. I'm very fresh to the topic, so I'm not going to have too much to say on it, except for my opinion and what I think I know. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and get to the panel, see what they're saying, what they're doing.
It's just a performance.
What's up, guys?
Hey, hi, Sean.
Just so you know, we're live. Not sure if you guys were watching the page. Again, it's going to be an open topic. I know I'm repeating it to YouTube. It's going to be an open topic, but I've been kind of looking into like the drug trade, immigration, and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of things came to light to me in the past 48 hours that I've been looking into it.
Yeah, that's just your lighter, Sean.
My lighter?
Well, how else do you light your weed?
What the hell does that have to do with the topic?
Well, you said it comes to light.
Yeah, well,
my God, that went straight over your head. You are short.
That's
I heard the whoosh from here.
That's because it wasn't funny.
Ah, jeez.
Boom. What's up?
What up, Jose?
Hey, before we get to the main topic, I got a minutes. Maybe I can ask a question.
Yeah, absolutely. It's open topic, no worries.
Yeah. The distance to the sun. Do we need a big measuring tape ruler, or do we do a laser? So if I point a laser to the sun, do I have to wait 8 minutes for the light to reach the sun, and then 8 minutes for me to receive the light, so I know the distance? Go ahead.
Home Depot, Jose.
Yes.
The sun would absorb the laser, Jose.
Well, let's use the moon in this instance, just for the rational.
Well, you can use radio frequencies for the sun.
Or you could just use parallax from Venus.
Yeah.
Venus, is that the one they imply back in the day that it was the same size as the Earth, and that's how they determine the astronomical unit?
No. The astronomical units between Earth and the Sun. No, Venus is relatively the same size as Earth. So it's not exact, but it's close.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
So these radio frequencies, if I want to bounce signals to the sun, the radio signals, how long does it take for me to receive the signals? Is it 8 minutes as the light or different?
16 minutes.
It's gonna be twice as long because this is a round trip.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'd be kind
thank
of
you.
like it's kind of like this, Jose. There are two things that I can think of that for good examples. When it comes to using a laser, it'd be the same method as standing in front of a mirror and turning your flashlight on and measuring the time it takes for the light to get back to you. The other way, which like radio, would be like the same thing as standing in a canyon and screaming and timing how long it takes the echo to return. And that happens. You can do those two. Both those examples are done with almost any measurements, or when we're talking space and distance. So we can verify how long it takes compared to how long it would take here, and use those calculations to know that the sun is that far away, or the moon, or any other planet.
A quick thought. So if I got a 2x4 long stick, 93 million miles long, right? But I'm holding it right here on Earth, and I got it separated from the sun, 1 foot away from the sun, right? It's not touching the sun; it's quite there, our arm's reach. So if I push the stick on Earth, how long will it take the stick to touch the sun? Is it 8 minutes or is it instant?
Well,
Damn
obviously,
good question.
obviously a super hypothetical impossibility, but it would to me it would be instant. But light doesn't travel the same way a physical object.
So that means exactly a physical will travel faster than the speed of light if I push it 1 foot away so it can touch the sun. Okay, I got it.
In that situation, you're talking about 93 million miles versus 1 foot.
Well, you have to think about the fact that the object has mass, and also there's some rigidity to it, whether it's steel or carbon fiber. So it's not going to be faster than the speed of light.
But in that same sense, it's still the time that object needs to travel. If you're saying you got a stick that's from here to the sun and it's a foot away from the sun, you're only having to travel a foot compared to the light's 93.
I'm on Earth and I push the stick 1 foot away from me, just our arm's length, 2 foot, boom! That's gonna instantly poke the sun at the same moment that I push the stick.
Yeah, but you won't know it for 8 minutes.
That's what I say. So it will last 8 or 16 minutes for me to feel the vibration when it hits the sun. 16 minutes.
No. You won't see it. You won't see that fact happened.
Yes, that is very correct. If you could
Well,
see
he-
this, if you could
will
see
he
this,
feel the stick, though?
put it this way, if you could see the process happening, Jose, as you're pushing the stick, the stick would take the time for you to it take that 1 foot, the time it takes you to travel that 1 foot pushing the stick, which isn't instantly. It does take milliseconds or even a second, whatever. But the time for you to have seen that happen would take 8 minutes.
So I will feel it fails. I will feel when it hits, boom, like as I push it, it hit it. But then I'm looking at the sun with a super magnifying telescope and I gotta wait 16 minutes for me to see it happening. Wow.
Yep. Yeah. But that's also the difference between it being an object of matter in your hand, and you're only, where the light's traveling 93 million miles, you're only traveling 1 foot.
My work is done here. Thank you very much. I'll keep listening on YouTube.
Way to go, Jose.
Wow.
Nice one, bro.
Montreal, what would you say that he accomplished doing that one?
He just showing how regular people look at things, in an honest manner, like how a regular person looks at things. That's all.
But does the way we look at things mean that it is? Because
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just
what I got from what Jose just said was, it doesn't make sense that I can touch the sun within a second, but it would take those 8 minutes. But it's literally two different subjects of this conversation. One is, what does it take for matter to touch the sun and us to know it, and one is, what does it take for the light to reach our eyes? It's not a correlation that would make it seem impossible. It actually would give more rigidity to how light is explained to work.
Agreed. I just said Jose because I like the way he thinks, but my issue with that is the 93 million miles is I find it hard to believe that we can say with certainty that we can bounce a beam 93 million miles away and assume that it didn't touch anything, and then hit an object, right, and then come back and do this in 16 minutes without nothing else interfering in between. No gas particles, no rays, no nothing. That's what I find hard to believe.
Yeah,
Well,
I just got a question.
Hang on.
What type of...
Hang on. It'd be like this. You stand 20 feet from a mirror with one of those laser pointers, and you point it. And it takes you, and this is all BS numbers, it takes 1 second. Well, if you do that 100 times, and 25 of those times it takes 1.5 seconds, then you're going to start looking for why that happened. And in that, you'll probably find that something is passing between the 2 points, or you'd go, okay, well, let's verify this. Let's back up. So you move back another 20 feet and you do it again. It takes 2 seconds. And every time you do it, it takes 2 seconds, 2 seconds. And you may have 1 or 2 times where it takes a little bit longer. And that's when you would think something is in the middle. But the fact that they're getting that constant back and forth to time shows us we're not hitting anything. Nothing's getting in the way. And then we can go from there.
Yeah, we don't just do it one time, Montero, and say, "Oh, okay, it bounced." You point at different places and you get different results, and then you compare depending on where you point, what the delay is, and then you can say, well, anytime we point it at the sun, we get this much delay, and then every time we point it away from the sun, we get more delay, or no, or we don't get a signal back. So it's just not, you don't do one shot and say, okay, that's the result, that's it, pack up, go home. Of course they're going to verify it.
I hear what you're saying, Carlo. I hear what you're saying. It's just 93 million miles. We've got to keep that number.
I know. It's just that the numbers sometimes, if you get caught up on the numbers, that's crazy. But if you start looking at frequencies, how many 1 gigahertz, a gigahertz, that's how many vibrations per...
You know what I hear what you're saying. You know what the distance between New York and LA is?
3,000 miles.
Right. You think you can measure something accurately that distance? You probably can, right? Maybe with radar.
Sure.
Now try to imagine 93 million miles there and back.
Okay,
we just
sent... It's just a big number.
So,
but we just sent a probe. We just sent a probe that sits in the corona of the...
Davros, we sent a probe means shit all to anyone who thinks it's not possible.
Can I try here? Okay.
It's like this. It's like, hang on. It's like this. It's Montreal. I have a cell phone, and you have a cell phone in New York. Can I call you, and it reach you without any towers? Just my signal to your signal.
A cell phone, a regular cell phone?
Yeah, regular old cell phone, regular old Motorola.
I don't think so. The signal's not strong enough.
Perfect.
But if you go high enough and you use a strong signal, like an AM radio, you can transmit like 5.
Perfect. So if we shoot, say I call you, and I've amped my phone up, and I call you, but the signal won't reach. What would we do? We'd put a tower in between us, right? Well, instead of making the phone so powerful that they can do it, they put repeaters inside. Well, the way they measure the sun is they'll shoot a certain amount of they'll do the frequency measurement, and then sometimes it may not reach. It may dissipate and not ever return. So then they boost it up a little bit. Once they get to a certain strength, they start getting a feedback. It's the same. It's all the same. Everything works the same way. A laser on a mirror, sound of an echo. It's the exact same thing.
Sean, I get how the technology works.
Okay.
What I'm questioning is the distance
what would stop?
and the movements also.
Okay.
What problem do you have with the distance,
Well,
Montreal?
yeah, that's the thing.
What do you
Montreal.
think? Hang on.
What would stop a signal going to the moon?
A huge rock, cloud of gas, many things.
So we know. Go ahead, Carlos. I can pretty much.
You think you can see 93 million miles away and think that there's absolutely nothing between you? You can say that with certainty. 93 million miles away. Are you guys kidding?
Montreal, the higher you go, the thinner the atmosphere gets. Right?
Let's not get into.
Okay, how about this?
Do you want to get into that one? You sure?
Remember, I gave you the example of a laser pointer 20 feet away shooting at a mirror, measuring the time it takes to get back, return back to you, basically.
How about, do you think that radio signal could stay intact 93 million miles? Isn't it going to spread? Isn't there like a law that doesn't allow that, Sean?
But the stronger, like if you get a flashlight, that flashlight does that, right? But if you get one of those million candle watts, the beam stays straight enough, long enough. Same with laser. The stronger the laser, the less of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The dispersing of it.
Beam divergence.
Thank you. When you stand 40 feet from a mirror and you point that laser at it, Montreal, waiting for it to return, would you say there was anything in between you and that mirror?
No, I'm talking about dispersal.
Yeah,
you ever see when they take a pencil beam laser and they flash it like across a river and it becomes like 10 feet wide? Or
but
now imagine that 93 million miles away.
If you make it stronger, that the beam will tighten up.
Well, Montreal, you can also make that beam a little bit tighter, and yes, it will dissipate with distance. But then also, besides having a very powerful transmission, you can also have a very powerful antenna. So if you think of an antenna, just a regular dipole antenna, you just have basically just a metal rod, and then you're just grabbing whatever signal is touching that rod. Now, if you look at a parabolic antenna, what you're doing is concentrating all the signal that's hitting that surface area of that parabolic dish, and then it's concentrated into one point to be able to amplify it, just like you would with audio,
Carlo, I get all that. We're talking 93 million miles away, bro.
Yeah, you just can't handle the big number. That's what it is. It's a big number.
Montreal, let me ask, and you didn't really get to it. 40 feet away from a mirror, point the laser, return, blah, blah, blah. Is there anything between you and that mirror?
No, Sean.
There's not atmosphere?
Well, yeah. Okay.
Well, then how is it possible that laser makes it to 40 feet and then back to me if there's atmosphere to divert it, to make it go whatever?
We're talking 40 feet, Sean.
So, yeah, but
I don't get the comparison.
Okay. Well, if I use a AA battery in that laser pointer, it's the same thing as if I use something that has 1 trillion times more power to go further away. But you said, how do we know that nothing gets in between that? How do we know we're getting to the sun? Well, it's the same thing.
Well, that's one of my 3 issues that I have. I have 3 issues on the subject.
But at that distance of 40 feet that we're in our example, there's still atmosphere. Matter of fact, there's more of a density of more dense atmosphere density between that 40 feet than there is atmosphere to the sun. In space, I mean.
That's a questionable statement, but okay, we'll go with that.
But do you see what I'm saying? There may be something in between it, in quotations, but it doesn't mean that because there's atmosphere, it should go somewhere else. Now, what you said is actually 100% right, though. If we shoot a laser or we shoot radio signals at the moon or at the sun, I'm sorry, and we don't get the same number that we've been getting, then you could say something came in between the sun and us and interrupted our signal. But that's why you would do it 100 times.
Look, the moon, you can convince me maybe that you bounced something off of it
Why not the
at
sun?
that distance. But the sun is a whole different ball game, and also it's a burning ball of gas in
What
space.
stops the
That's
signal?
another issue.
What stops the signal, though?
Well, I told you I have three issues. One is the distance. One is objects that could be in between. And the other one is the signal I don't believe could stay intact to be able to travel 16 minutes there and back 93 million miles and another 93 million miles. I don't believe that could.
Montreal, I'm explaining you. It's not staying intact. Do you realize the immensity of those parabolic dishes to be able to pick up that signal? We're talking about massive. We're not talking about just a little, a dipole antenna and say, okay, we got the ping back. No, dude, you have to direct it. You have to actually point that dish at the right place in order to be able to magnify that signal. You know, it's just that signal's not staying intact. You're thinking it's just like a little burst and it bounced back like a little ball. No, it's amplifying just similar to like you were talking about the ripples in the water. You just have to have.
Carlos, it's the same thing. It's just on a much grander scale. Its scale is again the issue, right?
It's scale. The moon's 200. The moon's what, 240,000 miles. The sun is 93 million. They're both big numbers. One's just a damn sight bigger than the other, but it's exactly the same principle. When you say, "Oh, something could get in the way," well, if there was something in the way, we'd see it.
And we do the experiment again, and if that was something that was an object that was in the way, it won't be there if it's not in the way. And that's how we know when it is something that if there's something in between. That's how we're able to verify.
An excellent example is solar panels. You take a 1 inch by 1 inch solar panel, you can only get a certain amount of current. Guess what? You get a 1 foot by 1 foot, you get more current. You're just making more surface area.
Now that's one thing we've got a lot of around here. We've got entire fields covered in PV arrays, photovoltaics, and that's exactly what they're doing. You've got fields of sort of 20, 30 acres covered in these angled panels that are all gathering in sunlight. Just one of them wouldn't do bugger all, but when you've got an entire field covered in them.
Right, so all that light's being dissipated, from when the sun is emitting it to the earth. So yeah, with one little tiny solar panel, you're not being able to harvest all the energy from the sun. But guess what? If you get a bunch of those solar panels and big ones, you can actually harvest a lot more. It's the same principle with an antenna.
Inverse square law. Finally, there's a reason for it to be.
Yay!
Drink.
Just a quick little tidbit. Back in 2018, China successfully used a 1.2 meter telescope laser ranging system to bounce off the retro reflector. 1.2 meter wide laser.
Yeah, because they get hardly anything back, do they?
Actually, I've been to one of these direct laser sites, and I can show you exactly how big it is and what it looks like.
Yeah, these cost billions of dollars.
Montreal, you sound very, very skeptical, and like you just wanted to close your eyes to just simple facts. And I mean no disrespect, but you're saying how in the heck they can travel that far distance, and you're getting hung up on the number. But if you look a little bit deeper, you start just scaling it. You got two-way radios. They can communicate for 2-4 miles, right? But then, if you want to go any further, when you start getting bigger antennas and more powerful, transmitters, and then you go from dipole antennas to parabolic antennas or Yagi antennas, different arrangements, and you start scaling, you're getting a better grasp and understanding. I think you're just getting hung up on the number, man.
Carlo, I get what you're saying. This is not my claim. Jose made a statement, and I told him, all right, way to go, and you guys are jumping all over me. This is not my claim.
All right,
you want to believe the sun is 93 million miles away?
It's not
That's on you, bro.
No. It's not a claim you're making. It's a statement you made. You said that you don't.
I said, way to go, Jose. That's what I said.
No,
good question.
We didn't jump on that.
Yeah, that's not.
We didn't jump on that.
Because that's what brought us into you explaining to us that the 93 million mile distance seems far-fetched to you. That's not a claim, but it's a statement that we're engaging on.
Jose was talking about a big rod or whatever. I don't know.
Can I jump in? Can you hear me?
Yep, we hear
Don't
you.
fall.
Oh, you can hear me. Cool.
How
So
you
it is
doing,
on
sir?
Discord. Yeah,
Yes.
good. Salute to everybody, all
Been a
kings and
while. How you
queens
been?
listening. Yeah, good. You all had a good holiday and New Year?
Sir?
Yeah, good. I want to become a trampoline if that's okay, and I want to be jumped all over because I defend that statement of what was just made about there could be something in the way, and that something is space.
Okay. Okay. So then why when we do the test on Earth does the atmosphere not affect our measurements?
It does. The ionosphere does affect the measurement.
No. I meant. Oh, no, yeah, you're right. But if you amp up the frequency, it's able to pass through it. Kind of like if you shoot a BB gun at a piece of wood, it won't penetrate it. But if you add 10 more CO2 cartridges to it, then it'll have the power to shoot through it. Same thing.
Sure, that's here on Earth, but now put it in a medium that you've never been.
Oh, that isn't space.
Well, you compare the distance between there and 450 miles to
Fair
the
enough.
distance to the sun. You're talking a minute percentage.
And what about the ones who went to the moon and back? Is that not space?
That's questionable, but still only
No,
a fraction of. No, listen, only a fraction of the amount it is to the sun. You've just said
it's still space.
But the distance, distance between Earth and the Moon is still space.
Yeah.
Yes.
The distance between me and that mirror I was talking about, 40 feet, is space.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you are assuming it's empty.
No one's made that assumption.
We'll start on a small scale. My 40 feet with a laser and a mirror, there's space, and we know that there's atmosphere in between us.
Is there space-time and the bending of space-time with that?
Yes.
Okay.
How do I know? Because general relativity. Realistically.
Okay. So you're saying, that there is length contraction and time dilation here on Earth. Okay.
Yes. All
so that small, minute measurement that you've just done on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do you upscale that then to the sun, not knowing the exact medium right the way to that sun of that pencil beam?
Perfect.
Because you make it more powerful.
You don't
make it more powerful.
No,
Sorry, Sean.
It's literally trial and error. Now go ahead, Davros, because now you'll explain that trial and error.
Yeah. So if you can't make it on the first go, you make it stronger. If you can't make it on the second go, you make it even stronger.
I'm not saying it's not getting there. I'm not saying it's not getting there. You're answering a wrong argument.
Oh,
hang
I see
on.
where he's coming from. Okay, go ahead, Davros, and I'll say that.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry,
So
I did
you
interrupt.
make it strong enough that it goes through the medium.
Cool. Yes, I'm not arguing with that.
But what are you calling the medium between us and the sun? What is it apart from just... Hang on, let me finish my statement. Okay, we understand... Us, as you would call us, globies or whatever, we understand space-time. We understand the fabric of space. We understand that it's not... Hey,
we have a good understanding.
How do you know what I don't understand, mate?
We have a good understanding of it. That's the best way of saying it.
Okay, you be overconfident with that. I don't think you do. That's just an opinion. Sorry. Carry on.
So what is the medium that Earth moves through then?
Okay, well, from my point of view, you've just sent the Parker Solar Probe up and found massively more plasma than predicted. True or false?
Okay, I see where you're coming from. I see exactly where you're coming from. And I actually, damn it, I hate to say this, I actually agree with Gleam. Okay, so remember, Gleam, correct me if I'm wrong. We go outside, we look at the sun. We assume the sun is there. Realistically, the sun is 8 minutes and 20 seconds ahead of us.
Yes.
The reason, and what Gleam is trying to say is how do we know that sun isn't 50 miles, 1,000 miles, 100 million miles, 10,000 million miles, trillion miles,
or 4,000 miles?
Yeah. Based on the fact that we don't know how the light gets to us through through space itself. So I see exactly where you're coming from. It doesn't. It's not really
Not
an
s-
argument for
not s-
it not
y-
knowing, but
Yeah, I'm not saying it's definitive, but I'm saying that Montreal was right to say what he said. He said
Okay.
as soon as we get to this particular medium, we don't know what happens. There could be something in the way. And then I heard two things, obviously in the way, and we can't see anything in the way. And we know that you can't see dark energy or dark matter. So why is there, I mean, there was this cloud back in the 1970s called strontium-90 floating around, which was completely invisible, but it had a massive electromagnetic effect.
okay.
And measure.
I've got a question. Hang on. I've got a question. I need to ask this.
Gavros, no, hang on. When we do this, how many times do you think they do it, Glenn?
Millions.
Okay, so do you think that if this was the case, we would get numbers that match, or do you think we would get random numbers all the time?
No, this is it. Your theories are based on that space being empty.
No,
You
they're
have
not theories.
Yeah,
They're not
they
theories.
are.
They've been
They are.
tested.
It's free space. That's what your calculations calculate as. There is no resistance to light,
That's not true.
or minimal.
Thank you. That's much better.
Yes, there's gravitational
But-
effects.
but this
There's
is what I'm saying.
gravitational
Wait
effects
there.
on all beams
Hang
of
on.
light.
Hang on.
In
This is what I'm
space,
saying.
there-
Wait there. NASA. Yeah. So we understand. Yep. That there's free space. We've done all our calculations on this free space with a minimal effect for Sean. But now we sent up a probe to measure what space is made of, and it's come back with tsunamis of plasma that we never expected and never put in our calculations, never accounted for. And that's what I'm talking about. You don't know what the medium is between here and there. They've only just bloody found it out.
Okay, but
That's a reasonable statement, gentlemen, he made.
no. I get
No,
what he
it's
said.
not.
No, it is.
It's
It is.
not. It's conflating two. It's conflating two things.
It's
Just
not.
because we found more plasma on the surface of the sun doesn't mean that
No,
there's
not the
plasma
surface.
in the medium between space.
The
No,
Parker
that's what
Solar
the-
Probe is nowhere near the sun yet.
No,
It's
no.
still over
No name.
halfway.
Yeah, no name. What he said, what he's saying makes sense. It's a question. It's a logical question. The difference between it being correct or wrong and how we understand things is the fact that we've sent so many damn signals that we know that signal strength. Now,
It's frustrating
no.
because he's
Now-
literally
now
conflating two things.
Now, why does that signal get sent and return the same? Is what then they'll have to figure out for the more plasma that they're detecting. But the thing is though,
That's it.
is that the measurements we're getting are consistent enough to match with our 93 million mile assessment.
Sure. I don't doubt that.
When you're talking about the medians in between us, I agree. Actually, I am 100% on agreement of that. The thing is that we're sent these signals tell us that we're getting consistent pings, but
Yep.
that doesn't mean we then throw those pings out because we don't
No.
know exactly what's in the middle between us. But we do
No,
know. But
Yeah.
that's exactly what will happen, because now the next questions will be: how does light work with the amount of plasma that we are seeing?
Exactly. I
Okay.
am 100% backing exactly what you just said there. And it's more, that was a more of a, anybody who thinks they know what space is and know what all the conditions are throughout space from here to the sun, jump on me, because I know you don't. I
But
know
then-
that science doesn't, because
Neither
they've
do
just
you.
found something different. No, I don't.
But
Exactly.
well, hang on.
And
But
I
in
admit
that same
that.
point, at that same point, Gleam, you can't say that it wouldn't work or it doesn't work or
No.
it can't be possible.
No, I
right?
can't. I
Okay.
can't. And that is
Okay.
my point. That is my
Okay.
stance.
Okay. Yeah, science will change, people. Things do change. We
Of course they do.
argue this every day. That's what science is. Science. What Gleam is
But
saying
don't you
isn't
f-
wrong. I'm going
don't
to say
you
this
f-
right now. It's not.
Yeah, don't you think it's a bit ironic over the past 3-4 years with Grim
Yeah,
Grim
hang
V
on.
and
I've had
quite a
enough
few
of this,
people of
Glenn.
the electrical?
Okay, I've just got to step in. No, I've got to step in right now, mate. The Parker
Okay, you
Solar
carry on.
Probe is only 2.6 million kilometers away from the sun right now.
Yeah, well, you've just now destroyed No Name's argument. Thank you for that, for backing me up.
No, it's not. No.
You didn't. No, you didn't. Because he didn't. Because I
He
was
just said
trying
it was
to
on the
say that
surface of
before I
the sun.
kept-
You just
I said
said
it's
we're not
almost to
talking
the
about the
surface
surface. Yeah, he said. You basically
You
said
it was
not
only
about the
halfway
medium.
there.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's the medium in between.
Who's more right,
Ugh,
Gleam?
fucking idiot.
Who's more right? What do you mean?
Yes.
I'm gonna say this
None
right
of
now.
us are right.
Wait. I'm gonna say this right now. No Name and Gleam, on this point that you're talking right now, you're both cherry picking.
I'm not making any definitive claims. I am just saying you
Yes,
don't know.
you are.
And you are then
both
saying, no,
he's not.
we
No
do
Name.
know.
He's not No Name. I actually agree with what Gleam is saying. It's that you have to break down this. Hang on, try this. Just 1 second, Davros. You try this because I know you have something to say against it. Just try this 1 second. Is what Gleam's saying a claim or questioning what science is giving us?
It's a claim. It's an assertion.
What has he claimed?
Okay, so his claim was that even though we sent the probe, right, that it only got halfway, but there's some form of medium that's causing problems, right? But we've got a probe.
Hang on,
sitting
whoa.
Hang on.
He did not say that. He didn't say that. He didn't. He literally said that the Parker probe has found more plasma. That's all.
He literally said it was only halfway there.
Oh, that's cherry picking. That's cherry picking.
Yeah,
that is not cherry picking. That's an assertion he made.
Okay.
Parker Solar Probe is the first probe to have the things to measure this with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Since the Helios probe
What
back
John
in
is saying, don't put
1976.
words in his mouth.
No,
Gleam didn't say that.
Yeah, this is what matters. It doesn't matter if Gleam said a quarter, a half, a 3/4 of the way. What Gleam said was actually 100% right. They have found more plasma than we have observed. Probably because it's there. Probably because it's closer. He's not made a claim. He has literally said how. This is exactly what he's saying. Because I just got done saying how Gleam isn't wrong in what he's saying. We literally are arguing. No, wait. You guys are arguing that science won't change, and we know. Gleam is saying we don't know 100%, so why are we acting as if it's 100%? That's all Gleam's saying.
Exactly.
You guys are arguing like Gleam said, the probe is halfway, there's fucking a median there that diverts all light, and now we're going to fucking jump at you. He literally didn't make a claim. He didn't make a claim at all.
But hang on. Him saying that it's found plasma, right, more than we've detected before, but it was only halfway there, that's the incorrect statement.
He may have said
it's
halfway.
the medium in between.
How about this? He may have said halfway. Oh, well, forget 3/4 of the way.
Halfway.
Quarter of the way. It doesn't matter. If the Parker probe finds more plasma than we see, that would be the point you guys should be coming at, not the distance that the probe is at.
Exactly. The plasma
they can't come at that
it's
point.
Receiving is coming from the sun.
Okay.
Going through that same medium.
Is it the same? Is it the same amount of plasma that
going
we
through
observe?
What medium?
Plasma.
What?
Space.
No. He's saying the plasma's going through a medium.
Space.
So what is that medium made of?
Space isn't a medium.
The fabric of space isn't a medium?
Yes, it is.
No.
Then how does gravitational waves travel through it?
Well, what is it made of then?
The fabric of space. We don't know.
Yeah,
Einstein didn't tell us.
It would be classified as a field.
Okay,
it's ether.
It's not a field. Wait.
It's a scalar
field. Time out. Whoa, time the fuck out. Because this is an argument. Davros, this is at you. We just got done talking about the gravitons, gravitational waves, blah, 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 blah. You're now saying that the fabric of space isn't a median? I
hadn't got there yet, Sean.
Well, go ahead.
I was coming, and then you blocked me.
Well, that's because farmers jumped in. My bad. But yeah, but this was the conversation we were having about this, so that's why I'm jumping at it like that. To say that space, there's no median in space, is saying there's a void in space, and science has never said there's a void between us and the moon or the sun.
Exactly.
Every point in space has an intrinsic value, whether there's an electron there or not.
And
it's a scalar field.
And if they don't, they call it a void. And science does not say there's any voids between us and the sun. So to say that there's no median it's dishonest. Or I don't know if it's dishonest. I'm not thinking you're lying about it, but it's not correct.
Distracting.
No, I didn't say there was no medium. I asked what is that medium that he's
Farmers said there was no median.
Yes, but I'm not farmers.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
Okay,
Way
if
to
you
go,
want my
John.
personal,
Keep it honest.
Both foreigners.
if you want an answer to the question, ether.
No. See,
Oh,
God
same
damn it,
back,
Gleam. You fucked it up.
Same as space time.
I had your
Different
back, Gleam,
concept.
and then now we're on different pages again. Okay.
Ah,
Here's
See,
the
I
problem.
knew that's what
Okay,
he was referring
and
to.
here's the problem with
Fucking
the
ether.
ether. Here's the problem with the ether.
Mm.
Because it goes both, it's two sides of the sword. It could be ether, fine. But the problem is that the ether that was hypothesized back in the day that they thought may be in space was not. So when you say ether, you are literally talking about a description of something that does not exist.
No,
Now,
background
don't
energy
say
medium.
don't say ether. If I were you, and this is just off the top of my head, I would say a median. Let's keep it at that. Because when you say
Okay, dark
ether,
energy. Dark energy. There we
don't know
go.
what that
That's
is,
all.
but we don't know what that
Well,
is.
exactly. We don't know what ether is. It's dark energy. It's there. We know it's there.
No, Gleam, we know ether doesn't exist. We know dark matter
don't.
exists. We just don't
No,
know.
we
what it is.
don't.
Yes, we do.
How do we know anything about ether when we don't
Because
know
we can
ether?
observe their effect.
Morley experiment. The what's the Aries Fair? All like these things we know.
They all have alternative explanations.
Okay.
Come on.
It's okay. How about this? You saying ether is like me saying chemtrail.
No, me saying ether is like you saying space time because they are
No.
mathematically
Is
equivalent.
ether testable, repeatable, and verifiable?
Yes, just
Wait,
as much
Okay,
as
show
space
me,
time.
show me the experiment that shows the same reading at least 3 times.
Okay, look at Lorentz transformations.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the ether, mate.
No.
What? Seriously, am I talking to people who do not know that Lorentz ether
The
theory?
Lorentz transformation has nothing to do with ether.
Seriously, are you really saying that? 100%
Well, I
saying
just said it.
well, listen. Let's. Do you know what let is?
Says
Lorentz ether theory.
Lorentz ether theory. Between 1892 and 1904, Lorentz developed an electron ether theory, in which he introduced a strict separation between matter, electrons, and ether. In his model, the ether is completely motionless and won't be set in motion in the neighborhood of pondable matter. What the fuck that means? So the Lorentz ether theory is something. I'll go into a little.
Lorentz ether theory is the foundation of space-time. I can't believe you guys don't even know this. I mean, Barney talks about it all the time. You should have learned from him in the past year at least.
Okay, so you're appealing to authority now.
No, I'm appealing to somebody who has a clue over somebody who doesn't. You
That's
just
an appeal
said.
to authority, mate. The Lorentz transformation has nothing to do with the ether that you're talking about.
Okay. It says, by the late 1800s, the existence of ether was being questioned, although there was no physical theory to replace it. It says, the negative outcome of the Michelson and Morley experiment, 1887, suggested that the ether did not exist, a finding that was confirmed in a subsequent experiment through the 1920s. So the Lorentz
It suggested
ether theory,
that we're not moving. That's what it suggested.
But before the Lorentz ether theory, there was no physical theory to replace it. But once the Michelson and Morley experiment failed, that's when they realized there was no ether.
Guess what the actual replacement for ether theory was?
Relativity.
Space-time. Exactly.
No.
And Barney has said on this... Listen, wait there. Barney has said on this show, Lorentz was so happy with Einstein because he kept his ether theory alive in space-time.
Can I see that quote,
and
please?
that you can read up about it. This is what happened.
Can I see the quote that Lorentz said that?
No, Lorentz didn't say that. I just said Barney said that on this show. Please, right, now listen.
Anecdotal
Wait there.
appeal
I'll tell
to
you.
authority, right
No,
there.
okay, right, I'm
Anecdotal
going to tell
and
you.
appeal to authority.
Listen,
Barney's
listen,
here
Demonic.
Back up your
Okay,
claim.
I don't
I'm
need
not
him.
going to
I
accept.
don't need him. Look up the history of special relativity and look at the bottom of that page that you're looking at, wiki for Lorentz ether theory, and you will find what happened. MMX done their experiment. Everyone was threatening to get rid of ether because ether was undetectable. Okay? Now, what Lorentz said is because he had an electron ether theory, he wanted to keep that alive. So he was the guy who invented the transforms, time dilation and length contraction, to fudge the results of the MMX to make it a spinning world and ether existing. All Einstein did is took the time dilation, length contraction off of Lorentz's transforms and put them in Minkowski space-time. You seriously do not have a clue about the history of all this.
What the fuck does the measurement of light have to do with the motion of the planet?
Well,
What
check
the
this
hell
out.
does it-
Okay, so check this out. So I'm in the Lorentz theory Wikipedia, and I scroll down, and now it says the problems of it. It says, by the point of the mechanical quantities of ether had become more and more magical, it had to be a fluid, or in order to fill space, but one that was millions of times more rigid than steel in order to support the high frequencies of light waves. Then it goes down and says that in a quote from Maxwell, ethers are invented for the planets to swim in construct electrical, atmospheric, and magnetic efferents. I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah, whatever. Then it goes down and it says the contemporary scientists were aware of these problems, but ether was so entrenched in physical science by this point that it was simply assumed to exist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I read that, and again, I didn't read it very many times.
Read the next one, Sean, by the early 20th century.
Okay. By the early 20th century, ether theory was in trouble. A series of increasing complex experiments had been carried out in the late 19th century to try to detect the motion of the Earth through the ether, and had failed to do so. A range of proposed ether dragging theories could explain the Neal results, but these were more complex, intended to use arbitrary looking or arbitrary. I don't know how to say that word.
I mean, you can
arbitrary looking coefficients and physical assumptions.
What's that?
Lorentz, arbitrary.
We can just skip this bit and go right to the end and just say Einstein resolved it by deleting the ether, but still keeping the mathematics of the time dilation and length
What part of failed do you not understand?
Yeah. So wait a minute. So a very important thing, Glenn. What you seem to be arguing for is that the ether described here is space-time, whereas what actually happened is everything regarding this, except maybe a few equations which were tested based on physical reality on the assumption of an ether, remained. Now the problem there is that physical reality test with equations that came out true were not based on, oh my God, there's definitely an ether. It was based on the assumption that there was. Everything else failed. Then Einstein came along and, yes, might have taken equations from it because they worked in reality to figure out the rest of it, and space-time replaced it. It did not evolve into it.
It did. Even what you said, I don't know where your research line has taken you, but my research line said it evolved from it.
Okay, so now, yeah, but unfortunately, so you used Einstein as a catalyst for showing but it actually says that special relativity, it was the end of ether. It says ether theory was dealt another blow when the Galilean transformation and Newtonian dynamics were both modified by Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity, giving the mathematics of Lorentz electromagnetics a new non-ether context. Unlike the most major shifts in scientific thought, special relativity was adopted by the scientific community remarkably quickly. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. But yeah, I see where you're coming from, Gleam, but the problem is that there is literally no evidence of a ether.
No. I will carry this on straight away. So I've just posted up in the Discord chat there an actual paper on it that says, in this case, the Lorentz transformation and Lorentz length contraction would indeed be the same under Einstein transformation, but somewhat different interpretation.
Right, stop there. Just 2 seconds. On those 2 sentences. Now, let's take those 2 scenarios. One with space-time, and one with some magical stationary substance. Yeah.
Dark energy. Yeah.
Ether, in this case.
Same thing.
Well, citation to say the same thing. I'll shut the fuck up. So the thing there
I can
is
do that.
You find me a citation where it says dark energy is aether. That's actually peer reviewed and accepted in general science. Now the thing about these two, there's loads of things proposed by nutcases. So the thing here is these two sentences are based on theory and assumption. One is backed by an ether, where the physical reality test comes out true, and one is backed by space-time, where the physical reality of it comes out true. Now, the issue with both of those is you need to test for the theory part of it on your assertion of there is an ether, there is space-time. The problem being, ether failed, space-time is a thing.
I'm trying to get to that.
That one calculation worked.
No, I'm trying to get to that. You just so monotonous going through the whole history again and again. Are you not aware? No, but listen, are you not aware it's failed? Are you not aware of the galaxy rotation?
The ether failed.
No.
The ether failed.
Space-time and relativity.
No, ether's not testable or repeatable.
Oh my God! Listen, neither is dark matter or dark energy. Come on, it's the same thing.
No. Hang on. None of us said dark matter or dark energy. You're the one who brought it up.
No, well, let me explain it then, and stop interrupting, and I'll get to the actual point. Okay, let me just do it with science. Look in the chat, and I'll just post the citations from Paul Dirac, 1951, 31 years after space-time even come in, saying that then we're forced to have an ether with new quantum electrodynamics.
I just read the abstract of your paper, and in the first paragraph, it makes it very clear that the Lorentz transformation, Lamar length contraction, and Fritz Grizzle or whatever. It says none of those. The reasons that there is no similarity. There's small similarities, but it's not the same thing. Especially in the fact that the three I just named were using it an ether frame is what it's called, where it wasn't using two frame. Wasn't using
it's a static frame instead of dynamic or relativistic.
So it says the contractions were originally diverged for only the case of a frame moving relative to the ether frame, not for the two moving frames, which extending the Ferenz, Lorentz, and Lamar length contractions to any two frames. We clearly see that there is a different than the Einstein length contraction.
Liam, just really quickly, is your claim that the ether is a real thing and there is a physical medium that is stationary that this planet or this disk or this flat plane or whatever the fuck is moving through?
Yes, it's called quintessence in science.
And how do we test this?
Well, it's called Einstein's biggest.
I didn't ask what it's called. I don't want rhetoric. How do we test this?
No.
Has test been done?
I was trying to get to it. Can you stop interrupting me? And I'll get to it. Because the Nobel Prize of 2011 was won for this. Were you aware of that?
I'm just still waiting for the answer to my question, please.
Yeah, it's testable because...
Okay, point to me the test that's been done.
I'm trying to say it, and you're just interrupting me, for God's sake. How they tested it is they bundled up all the matter they can see.
No. Just point to me the test. You don't have to explain it, honestly. I'll read it. I will put in the effort and I'll read it.
Nobel Prize 2011. God.
So... Can you point? So you're saying I just search for that on Google, or can you post me a link that shows me the test of this stationary ether medium that came out true and was reviewed?
It was dark energy.
Okay. Oh no, that's fine then. That's fine. So a different thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Dark energy might exist.
Which is the same text.
Oh right. Well, okay. Can you now tell me? Give me a citation.
Where the hell are you going?
Dark energy and ether is the same thing. I'm just wanting to test your assertions. That's it.
No,
that's all.
Dark energy is a candidate, or ether is a candidate to resolve.
Okay, I need you to stop making blind assertions now and just provide citations.
I just need to clarify something. 2011 Nobel Prize in Physics was about the expansion of the frickin' universe.
And what caused
it? Nothing to do with any ether.
For fuck's sake.
No, it was just about the expansion.
Yeah, I'm not. See, that's the thing. I'm not. Liam, I see where they're coming from. You're saying that some of these things that are making claims for instance, dark energy, you're adding it as if ether is in the same boat, and you would have to show how.
Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be?
Because ether has already been disproven. There's no proof for ether.
It hasn't. It hasn't.
What would be the undeniable?
Just
what
because,
would be the evidence for
well,
it?
put it this way, because they didn't find it with the equipment of 1915.
Okay.
You think science hasn't advanced?
Okay, well that's even better.
You think quantum mechanics hasn't come along since then?
Exactly, I agree. Are you saying that? Are you ether banding the dark matter right now? Is that what it is?
No.
Here's the thing.
We got a new ether bunny.
Here's the thing. When you make the claim that it is ether, and this is the same thing. This is why I brought up the chemtrail thing. What I talk about are chemical trails, but chemtrail is not real. The same way it's kind of like you're saying, well, we know dark matter, dark energy is there, ether. It's not ether. It's dark energy, dark matter. They're not even the same. They're not the same thing.
Let me try and simpleton and really simplify it, because I think I may have confused you all. Yeah?
Please do.
MMX experiment. Before then, do we all agree that ether was accepted science? There was this background medium that allowed light to pass through it.
It was an accepted theory of conductivity of light.
It was.
Remember, under the same science that you just
accepted
said.
theory.
Accepted.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the technology. Yes. Remember, with the technology.
We just need agreements. We don't need. Yep.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Then Einstein came along and resolved the ether problem. Let's say. Let's go.
Wait a minute. I take issue with that. Resolve the ether problem, as in took it out of existence. Then yes. Resolved it, as in okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yes,
Killed it.
yes.
No. Yes. Awesome.
Yes, and what he done, and this is the simplest explanation, is he used the same framework, from my point of view, he used the same framework, which was the length contraction and time dilation that Lorentz had made for his ether theory.
No.
Yep, wait there, no, let's not get stuck on that one point, because you're going to miss the whole point. Yep, you're going to miss the whole point. Either way, you're going to miss the whole point. And what he did is he said, there is no substance there. There is this bendy space-time, but there is no substance. And he renamed it to space-time, removed the substance, and voila. That was
right.
space-time.
So brilliant. So aether being a substance that conducts light, he got rid of completely. He got rid of the substance, the thing of which you call ether.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
He didn't do any empirical experiments to do that. Okay, that was a conceptual change.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
that's
that was
fine.
a conceptual change.
So naming. So we've got this guy called Philip, and his name Philip. And Einstein said, actually, Philip doesn't exist. Why are you still calling whatever comes up Philip?
Because Philip has actually reared his ugly head. Okay, so let me finish then, and bloody hell. Anyway, I'm going to have to start rumpusing the shit out of this in a minute.
Okay, rumpus the shit out of it, because I've got a bone to pick with him.
Because either way, right, so Einstein, we're all on the same page, yeah? Ether was a theory, it got removed by Einstein. The substance of space-time was replaced, or the fabric of space-time was replaced with the substance of ether. Are we up to speed, yeah?
No.
Okay, either way, I'm going to carry on.
No, the thing is, there is no such thing as ether.
Listen, let me carry on. I'm at that stage where there is no ether.
Hang on, Glenn.
I'm at that stage. There is.
I'm gonna let you go. Hang on, I'm gonna let you go, guys. Let him get what he has to say out before we want to stop him.
I just want to get to the end where we stand today. Yeah, where current science is, in my opinion. Okay, it may not be your opinion, and you could correct me if you need. Okay, and I will
not. Just guys,
your opinion. It's not about opinion.
No, it's my opinion on what current science is saying.
Well, wait a minute.
Anyway, let's get back to it. Listen.
Wait a minute, Glenn, just really quickly. Let me ask you something. Let me just ask you something really quickly. If this is just your opinion, then why do we care?
You shouldn't care. Just hang up the phone and go.
No, that's fine. If this is not accepted science, if this is not factual, and this is no evidence claim based,
it's factual and mainstream
science.
I've
got an opinion that you.
How about this, guys?
It's mainstream science now.
Everyone's going to shut up real quick. Okay, here's the thing. I want to hear what Gleam has to say because, for one, I don't know very much about this about the details of this conversation, and two, this is what science is: going back and forth, trying to figure out shit. So if we're explaining something and what he's saying is not what you think is correct, that's fine. Trust me, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of scientists that do this every day, and it's accepted by us. But when Gleam does it, it's not accepted. Now, unless Gleam has said something that is a lie, completely bullshit, there's no reason to not care what Gleam is saying. Now, the second Gleam says something that is complete bullshit, please pipe up. But I haven't heard anything that he hasn't made claims. His opinion matters just as much as your opinion matters, Stingray. No matter what, because you've been wrong. You can't say you're always right. None of you can. So his opinion matters just as much as your guys' opinion. So if he should hang up the phone because it's just his opinion, then shouldn't you guys hang up the fucking phone because it's your opinion about him? None of us know this shit to be 100% fact, 100% proven.
But my opinion about you is that you're correct right now.
If it had been proven, we wouldn't even be sitting here having this conversation.
Well said, Sean. Man, well said. Exactly.
Salute, General.
But the thing is, it has been proven.
Right, can I just quickly finish it off?
Again, I don't know everything. So I need to know these things, and I want to hear every side, and I'll make that decision for myself. You don't need to, and not one of them. I'm not throwing it at one person. No, nobody here needs to tell one person to stop because no one cares. It's because you don't care. If you don't care, there's options you have. Mute, deafen, unsub, listen to something else, whatever. But until, again, he makes a lie, until he makes a bullshit out his ass claim, there's no reason for anyone to tell him to stop. No one cares. And I'm going to tell you right now, Gleam is not making a claim. He's made it. I'm very happy you said opinion 1,000 times, Gleam, because everyone has a fucking opinion. Go ahead, Gleam.
Right, just to quickly finish it off, I swear it'll be quick. So, straight after space-time was introduced, Hubble found that it was actually expanding. The whole universe is expanding, where Einstein set his cosmological constant, lambda, to 0. That was known as Einstein's biggest blunder. Not a big thing, doesn't matter. They just found that everything was expanding, therefore this needs to be set at a positive value instead of 0. Okay, so then later on, Paul Dirac and the likes of Richard Feynman and whatnot advanced in quantum mechanics. Now, quantum mechanics goes against all of this. Okay, there was a new method or a new phenomenon that they were experiencing and seeing. And what Paul Dirac actually done was in Nature, he had an article in 1951 basically saying, we can now see that we may very well have an ether subject to quantum mechanics and conformable to relativity, provided we are willing to consider a perfect vacuum as an idealized state not attainable in practice. From the experimental point of view, there does not seem to be any objection to this. We must make some profound alterations to the theoretical idea of a vacuum. Thus, with the new theory of electrodynamics, we are rather forced to have an ether. Okay? And what that is the background energy. Okay, now...
I'm sorry, I'm going to address this one last fucking time.
Okay, it doesn't finish there, though, because we come straight to date where dark energy is.
Hang on, because I'm irritated right now. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not letting him rumpus over this conversation. He's been cut off. He hasn't got to finish. I want to hear what the fuck he has to say, and I don't need people going, "You're fucking wrong, your opinion don't fucking matter." That's not me letting him rumpus a fucking situation. No name.
I define rumpusing all over the conversation as dominating it with a bunch of bullshit. So sorry.
Well, this is maybe I was using it incorrect. Right now is the first time he's speak in length without interruption, except for my interruption. And it wasn't that it was you guys came out with, well, this is how it's not correct. You guys just wanted to tell him how full of shit he was.
No, just let the guy speak.
We have.
There is one final section, which is just in 1930s. They then found that the galaxies weren't spinning correctly to the current theory of special relativity and general relativity. So they had to modify it to the lambda CDM model, which now is 68% of this energy in the background medium. And again, they send up a Parker solar probe, and oops, there's more of this plasma medium than they expected. A lot more. So I'm just saying that there is a background energy medium. You call it what you want. ZPE, you call it dark energy, you call it ether. I don't care. It was assumed that there is nothing in this medium, and it has been proven there is something in this medium. Me done.
The plasma is coming from the sun.
Can I just interject and say one thing, though? And that is that you started out by couching this in the concept of luminiferous ether, which was
No, I didn't.
In the late 1800s, early 1900s, and now we end up with, well, there's just something out there. It must be
background energy. Ether, luminiferous ether was considered the same thing, a background sea of energy. Lorentz ether theory is the same thing.
Was called sorry, Glenn. It was called a medium that light propagated through. It has said nothing about having an energetic state.
It's similar to quintessence now. It's similar to how they use quintessence, dark energy.
No, it's been called quintessence.
That brings up a good point about quintessence. What effect does quintessence have on the speed of light?
Don't know. Unknown.
Unknown. Okay.
Is it unknown, or you just don't know? I'm asking.
No, it is unknown. It's like asking, how does dark energy affect the speed of light? That is the question. You use whatever word you need, but the concept is there is a medium in the background energy medium of space, of empty nothingness. There is something there.
Okay.
I'm calling bollocks.
Here's the thing that I'm seeing, Glenn, and I kind of said something earlier about it. It's kind of like the same thing as the chemtrail and geoengineering for me. You did use ether, and that word ether gives the connotation of the luminescent ether.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Seriously, it's just advanced.
But see, you just got done you just told Metal that it wasn't the same thing.
No, they're all the same thing.
He said you came in with the assumption of using the median as the luminescent ether. You said no.
No, it's the same thing. It's just a background, a generic. Let's say I made up a new term, the ether background. But, it is just the background energy of empty space.
Ether bunny.
But wasn't the ether supposed to be some type of fluid in space?
Exactly, and that is exactly what dark energy was proposed to be by Oxford University, Dr. Farnes.
We don't know what dark energy, dark matter is.
Exactly, and we don't know what ether is. We just know that there is a background energy medium.
No. We do know what they thought ether was, and that's why it was disproven.
So it advances. It advances with our technology.
What's up?
So would it make you happier if we called dark energy ether?
You can call it what you want. We can call it dark energy, but there is a medium that we don't know about.
Why is it called dark energy?
Am I really, really quiet?
Yeah.
Because
hang on, guys.
Speak of the God, and he shall appear.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna turn.
But why is it called dark energy?
So, I would agree with a lot of what Gleam has presented, but he's talking about three different things here. Now, the statements of ether has been disproven go only to the luminiferous ether as a static medium, as the absolute frame which is not moving against which everything else is moving. That was conclusively disproven with the Michelson-Morley experiment. The ether of general relativity and Lorentz's ether are space-time of general relativity and Lorentz's ether are equivalent and synonymous and indistinct, are the same thing. That thing has not been disproven, and again, it just depends on your interpretation. That is one of the big unresolved questions in physics, whether there is an absolute frame of reference or not. And that thing is currently unresolved, and there is no known method to resolve it. So both of those answers are perfectly valid. It is perfectly valid to say that there is an absolute frame of reference, which is indistinguishable from any other frame due to calculations and transformations of general relativity, as it is to say, no, they're all the same and there is no preferred frame of reference, right? But that thing hasn't been disproven. That thing is completely ambiguous. And as far as science is concerned, the science's answer is, oh, we don't care. Like, if somebody wants to argue it, go ahead. And people do to this day. And there are many prominent physicists who argue for an absolute frame of reference and separation of space-time and neo-Lorentzian space-time, which are very distinct from how Einstein described it. But it is the same thing. Mathematically, it is the same thing. Now, a completely separate thing is that we have actually discovered luminiferous ether. As he said, Dirac and Feynman and the people who have discovered the vacuum foam, who have the people who wrote up quantum electrodynamics and described how light works as emission and absorption of virtual photons, which are created out of thin air, out of which borrow energy for their existence to be absorbed and transmit electromagnetic fields. That is, by definition, what luminiferous ether is. Now, the problem is that quantum physics is background dependent. So in quantum physics, it acts literally like like luminiferous ether. And general relativity is relativistic, so that thing must work in accordance to Lorentz's and Einstein's description of it being indetectable. All of those statements are true, and all of it is completely irrelevant. That is not some new matter that suddenly behaves as though it is the absolute frame of reference, detectable and with special properties. Those are all unfounded claims. Saying that there is dark energy and we don't know how it interacts with light. It's not that we don't know how it interacts with light. We don't know if it interacts with light. It's a complete unknown in that respect. It's like saying, I don't know.
Just a question. You
Go
know,
ahead.
Dirac actually retracted his theory. You know that, right?
I know, and still, people like John Bell, like who did the Bell inequality, who kind of proved that quantum physics is quantum physics with uncertainties and superpositions. Like, I can show you his letters where he says, "Oh, if only I could work out the neo-Lorentzian theory, because that would solve so many problems and make things so much simpler, and that is the thing that we should be working towards." And it hasn't really been done, right?
Excuse me, guys.
Thank you, Barney.
So Barney, do you think there's a medium between us and the sun?
There is a medium between us and the sun.
But is it ether?
In more ways than one.
Is it ether, though?
Is what ether? In which sense? Which
the medium
ethers
between
are you describing?
Earth and the sun.
I guess you would say is the
I
fabric of space.
I wouldn't call it ether. I wouldn't
ether?
call it. Yeah. So in terms of gravitation, it is space-time. That is equivalent to Lorentzian ether. In terms of light, there is the quantum foam and the virtual photon particles. Again, I wouldn't call that ether. We have a better name now. But it is equivalent to what they were thinking as ether. The fact that we stopped using a name does not discount the concept. Right? There are other examples where we have discounted the concept, but we kept the name, such as atom, the indivisible particle, which we commonly and regularly smash and divide.
Yeah. We won't go into quarks and leptons and stuff, Barney. We'll leave that for another day.
I know. I'm just saying the word ether itself. Don't be so alarmed by the word ether. It's just a word.
No, it's when it's used improperly, Barney.
It's the ether band.
It's a name
given for something that already described.
Everybody drink.
What Gleam is appealing to are the concepts. He's appealing to all of them at once, trying to support himself, which kind of makes him double talk a bit. But yes, all three of those have been confirmed, and we use them commonly and regularly. In that sense, we don't call it ether, but yes, ether very much does exist.
So we're arguing the Michelson Morley experiment versus his more
so people who are denying ether are invoking Michelson Morley. Michelson Morley consistently disproved one conception of ether, of what it might be. That has been disproven. There is no what's it called, detectable frame of reference against which you can measure your movement such that it affects the speed of light. There is no medium for light in that sense.
So that was one of the points.
What Einstein didn't prove that ether wrong. It proved that kind of thinking wrong. He literally said, like, you cannot think about a single frame of reference. That doesn't make sense. Everything is relative. You need to think of all of them, and in all of them, physics have to work.
Yeah, actually, I saw something about that the other day, about how even a moving frame of reference in space-time is classified as inertial.
Yes. Inertial doesn't mean not moving. Inertial means not accelerating.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So the inertial has no detectable motion by acceleration, but it can still move in space. So as things move relativistically around it, it would appear that frame's not moving. But that's another story.
It's not merely that it's not moving. It is moving. It is moving relative to other things. But there is no way of discerning for inertial things, for things which are moving according to their own inertia. There is no way of saying whether A is moving relative to B and B is still, or B is moving relative to A and A is still, right? Those two statements, what Einstein showed was that those two statements are completely identical, completely indistinguishable. That's one thing that, like, Feynman kind of tried to make very clear, was science, in such cases, science does, if you have two different stories with completely identical outcomes, that's fine. That's just relative. If you have two explanations, and that's kind of the problem with general relativity and Neo-Lorentzian, Minkowski spacetime and Neo-Lorentzian spacetime, they are identical. They are indistinguishable completely.
Is that like
they are just
correct?
Interpretations?
Yeah, being correct for the wrong reasons.
You don't know that. There is no way to discern whether those are the wrong or right reasons. One person will think of it this way and conceptualize it this way, and another will conceptualize it that way.
Oh, that's like the ABC, CBA thing. So one will see it one way and one will see it the other way.
Yes.
But the person in that third reference frame will see both.
But they're all seeing the same picture, and the science is concerned with the picture and doesn't care about what your preferred way of thinking about it will inform your future theories and will inform how you try to problem solve. And it's useful that people have many different conceptions, that you have many different interpretations. such as in quantum physics, right? Where you have many different kinds of stories about what's really going on underneath it, but the science is actually concerned with the Copenhagen interpretation. Shut up and calculate. This is what we can calculate, and this is what we can measure, and that's it. What your internal philosophy about it is your thing. You're welcome to any of them, as long as they're consistent with as long as they're usable.
I'm actually excited for the Dune detector at Fermi Lab to go online.
Dune, yeah.
I can't wait for Lisa. Lisa's the most promising one, isn't it? You all know about Lisa, yeah?
But so the thing where I basically like is he seems to go too far. I'm not sure whether he does, and I would like him to clarify. In stating, well, Parker probe has detected more plasma than expected. Therefore, sun could be at a different location, if I got it right, because more plasma would affect light differently, and we don't know exactly how it affects it. And there's dark matter that we don't know at all how or if it affects it.
Similar,
as far as
yeah.
So it could be
right?
further away, right? That would be the more of the possibility that's further away.
That's the thing. If you think of how a flat earther could
much, yeah. So
justify
the relevant bit is what is the size of your effect. If you have one atom of one proton, one hydrogen nuclei per square meter, and you expect to have that much, and then you go and you find two, you can say, well, there's twice as much as there was before, right?
Yeah.
And
No,
the effect on light will be nothing. Right? There will be a noticeable effect, and that sorry, not noticeable. There will be an effect, and that effect, which is before, as you expected, but it might come up to, well, we thought it was 60 million miles and 2 meters, and it turns out it's 60 million miles and 1.5 meter to the sun.
Yeah.
Right?
As I understand it, Bunny, and I've only read this on NASA's, but as I understand it, they were expecting a water drip from a tap, but they got a tsunami and this new thing where the tsunami goes backwards as well, called a switchback, which they've never seen before, really. So it was that's how they've put it in the article, whether it was a blatant blown up
also
news.
Very misleading, saying that the Parker probe is halfway to the sun.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know however far it is. But the point is I heard, I think it was No Name say, we're not talking about things just near the sun and on the surface of the sun. And I was like, no, it's to do with the medium in between. If you got a tube, basically, one tube connected sun to Earth.
The flow back is within the sun's magnetosphere, within its corona. It has already passed its perihelion more than once. The fact that its perihelion will continue decreasing, and the perihelion is halfway to where it aims to end up to be, does not mean that the Parker probe is not probing the sun, like physically directly. Being involved in
No, definitely not. And that was more about it. It was in the medium. We've made our calculations as if there was lack of this plasma or a standard amount of plasma, let's say.
Glenn,
and that they found that there is a lot more.
This is your mistake. The plasma's coming from the sun, not space.
I know. No, I know this.
Yep.
I mean, plasma fills space throughout.
Guys, yes, space is filled with plasma. That's fine.
Yes, I understand it, but the measurement that the probe has made is the plasma coming from the sun.
I get that, and the switchbacks are from the sun because they're heading in this direction, then they switch back to going towards the sun and then come back. It's like a lightning.
And the plasma coming from the sun is permeating the solar system. And when you go up north and look at the auroras, right? Yeah, you're looking at the plasma coming from the sun.
Yep. Yep. And then you can go into new land of magnetic ropes connecting everything. As in connecting everything to the sun.
Van Allen belts
currents.
are plasma from the sun.
Yeah.
And space, all of space everywhere is filled with plasma. Now the problem comes with, what does filled mean?
Yeah.
As I said, if it's one atom, one nuclei of hydrogen per square meter, we, for all intents and purposes, would call that vacuum. It's not that it's not going to have any effect, but the effect is negligible. Really negligible. You would need hundreds and thousands of light years of this stuff to get a noticeable refractory slowing down of light. And those are taken into account in the uncertainty of the measurements of how far things are. So the statement of, oh, we found twice as much, now everything is different. No, it's not. I'm sorry, Gleam.
No. My whole point is not everything is different. It's more, we know now that there is a medium in the background, because back in Einstein's days and Michelson-Morley days, there was there probably was talks of plasma, but that would have been nonsense to them. They wouldn't have known anything about that because they haven't sent probes.
I'm sorry, but that's rubbish. When they were when the first experiment that confirmed Einstein was the measurement of positions of stars during the solar eclipse. No. The first experimental confirmation of Einstein's theory was the declination of stars during the solar eclipse that somebody went and took, and it showed that the stars were moved. For that, they had to take into account plasma coming off from the sun and calculate how far away its corona was and how much that would refract light to show that there is more of an effect and that the rest of the effect is consistent with general relativity, gravitational lensing, rather than plasma refracting light.
I get you. I did not know that. Did not know that.
Gleam, you understand that your argument disproves a close sun, because it would only be further away, and our methods would depict it to be closer. Because of the plasma, that would mean the sun would be further away.
I don't see that, because if it's more dense, if the medium's more dense, light gets more slowed down. Therefore, the time there and back would be shorter.
But you're saying that's from the plasma.
That doesn't affect the speed of light, Gleam.
Hang on. You're saying it's the plasma off the sun that would be affecting that, and that would mean that we'd be getting a false reading of something closer, which means the sun would be further.
That moved, so we've got the background ether, and then we've got the plasma on top of that. So the background ether is the scalar field, filling the whole universe, and then you have plasma on top of the
background. What you're calling a scalar field ether?
That's what I thought it would be.
So you're bringing a quantum field in.
Quantum foam.
Hang on. No. Because you called it the scalar field, right? They're saying that the way it acts in the scalar field is like foam.
Yeah, sorry, I don't understand.
Gleam?
Where are you going? Yep.
What is a scalar field?
As I thought it was, or as I understand it, it is the background dimensions, let's say, of the whole universe. So the scalar
difference. Do you know what the difference between a scalar and a vector is?
A vector is a tangible physical direction with magnitude. Now the scalar is the field in which that sits in.
No.
So
No,
put it this way.
No.
Go on.
No.
Sorry.
Vector. A vector is literally just a direction and a magnitude.
Yeah.
And a scalar is a magnitude. So a scalar field just means you imagine all of space filled with some numbers, which don't have a direction, but there's some numbers.
Yes.
So when you let's say map the surface of the Earth as a scalar field of Barneys, every place where you look and there isn't a Barney, the field will have a value of 0, and everywhere you look and there is a Barney, the value will be a 1.
1. Yep.
And that's a scalar field of Barneys. So when you say a scalar field, you need to say a scalar field of what, and that what better be a scalar. The value of there is or there isn't a Barney is a binary scalar.
The way how I understood
the mathematical scaling.
It is the quintessence. It is the dark energy. It's that
you've got
background.
that word wrong. It's quintessence.
It's quintessence.
Okay. I like the essence on it though. Quintessence. Quintessence.
No, because I looked up the epistemology of ether, right? And I understand it that it talks about the quintessence of a medium that is above the terrestrial sphere.
Yeah. It was the upper air. The Greeks used to call it the upper air.
No. It's talking about the night sky.
Space.
Yeah, space, not the atmosphere.
Yeah. Quintessence literally just means that which it is. That what it really is. The true essence of things.
It was the separation from air, because you had air, you had all the elements, didn't you? Air, fire, water.
I'm just not getting how supposedly it can be that much more dense.
Are we talking about Captain Planet now?
Even in Earth's atmosphere, light travels at like 99.97 or something close to that. Its speed in a vacuum. So how dense is space?
Yes, exactly. Right. If you
unknown.
Unknown to a perfect precision, but known to some reasonable error margins.
Yes.
And it's nowhere near as dense or as charged as the Earth's atmosphere. And if you filled all of space from here to the sun with the Earth's atmosphere, you still wouldn't get, like with the Earth's atmosphere at sea level, you still wouldn't get a significant slowdown compared to the 8 minutes that it gets here, right?
You get 99.97% of 8 minutes.
Obviously, based on a globe model, and that's all I can say.
No, you're just trolling.
On a globe model, Gleam.
No,
come on.
No, seriously, that was the whole aspect that I joined the whole thing about is flat Earth versus globe Earth. But either way,
what part of terrestrial sphere did you not understand?
Yeah, there's a sphere around the flat Earth. Come on.
No, terrestrial sphere.
Yeah, there's a sphere around the flat Earth.
That means that the terrestrial planet is a sphere.
Yeah. Either way, ancient Greece. I mean, Thales and Anaximander both had a flat Earth model where it was a flat disk or a flat cylinder.
Yeah, but it's been proven otherwise.
And that's a globally accepted fact.
But anyway, can I just actually ask Sean if he's still there to just say that I don't know much, and I admit that. But Barney has just come in here and literally everyone's paid attention, no one's interrupted him, and I loved that. And I've got to respect you and Happy New Year, Sir Barney. But at the end of the day, I'm not right, yeah, in as much as what I'm suggesting. I am just suggesting what I've thought. Yeah, and at the end of the day, Barney's come in here and actually backed up virtually 80% of what I've just said, when I've just had literally 6-7 people barking at me like dogs as if I don't have a clue what I'm on about.
No, it was the way you were using some of those bits of information was what was completely. So it would. I wouldn't call it non sequitur, but it just didn't make sense.
There's a huge point to what he's saying on your side, where if somebody is wrong about something, you sense that somebody is wrong about something, smell it. You don't go saying things like, "Well, Einstein conclusively disproved ether and made it irrelevant and go away." There is some truth in it. He did make it completely irrelevant, but he didn't disprove it. It didn't go away. It's still here.
Well, regardless of whether or not Barney backed or not, I think everyone should have an opportunity to get what they have to say out without being jumped on. Just makes conversation
Fair
difficult, and more importantly, again, it's and Seek and Find actually said it well. Said this is a thought experiment, a think tank, so to speak, and that's meaning thoughts have to be brought out. Stopping them kind of makes it not a think tank. And just for the record, Seek and Find, it doesn't matter what someone's truths are in a thought experiment. It's literally the facts that derive whether or not the conclusion of that thought experiment. It's not about the truth; it's about the facts. That wasn't at you or anyone. That was just to Seek and Find.
Like one of the things I really like, I see a lot of people jumping on Gleam as much as they jump on other flat earthers. And I really, really, really genuinely appreciate Gleam because he does apparently really research stuff and come up with examples which are real, tangible, that you can go and look up yourself. Like when he's talking, like I've seen him being laughed at the non-sex show, right, for saying that Lorenz thanked Einstein, and I've seen him jumped on in the panel. And he is correct, and those people are making fools of themselves just by assuming, oh, he is wrong. Like he is wrong in his conclusion, therefore all of his. No, he is a great tool for looking up things and figuring out what our epistemic limits really are. What are the things we don't know? What does it really mean when we say the ether has been disproven, and which ether has been disproven, and what ether, and what are all of the theories that, like, a Gleam is actually a good conversation starter if you just 100%. Listen to him and follow up on what he's saying.
Yeah, it's not about whether or not he's right or right. Yeah, it's not about him being right or wrong. It's he's looking into things and he's bringing it to the table. So that's what makes more sense.
I disagree. I disagree with a lot of his speculation. Right, a lot of the ways that his mind sorts those things out. But those are again points of conversation.
He can be 100% wrong.
I disagree.
He has
awesome. Let's talk about it. Not. Yeah. I disagree. Shut up. You're an idiot.
Exactly. The Gleam doesn't come at the argument with nuh-uh. Everything that happened earlier is what you do to someone that goes no. Gleam doesn't do that. Even if Gleam depicts an article wrong, we all do. But he gives you an article to look into, a discussion to talk about. He gives you points that aren't just so far-fetched, it's ridiculous. It may be a little wrong. He may have an opinion of it that's not 100% correct, but he's not a nuh-uh, and he's bringing something to the table. And that's the only reason I want him to get it out.
On it that's not 1% correct, but
but it's still, but it's at least it's not nuh-uh. Yeah, and I do appreciate the chat. I appreciate that, Gleam, very much so. That's why I do like having you on, because you'll bring a topic up, and then you do like there's so many things you've said today that I have written down that I'm going to look into. It's like Barney said, it's a wonderful conversation starter at the least.
Yeah, forget all about all I love. All I love is exactly what just happened there. Is that not gloating, no gloat here, but it's more that a few people have just learned something new. And that's all it is. That's all it is, learning something new. Barney just taught me something new. So it was worth me even just plugging in and going, yes, and using that electric.
Yeah, I was under the impression that the word ether, term ether, the thought ether was so ridiculous to shut up about it. I learned today that it's not. It's how people argue it that are wrong. But But I can tell you right now, I have 4 tabs open about ether that I plan on reading after this because I don't know. I thought I knew enough, but I didn't know. I don't know shit when it comes to that. Thank you, Gleam.
In the same sense that Deepak Chopra uses the word quantum.
No,
Deepak
Barney,
Chopra
don't,
uses
don't.
the word quantum. It's just a stand-in for magic. It can do anything. We don't understand it, therefore it can make flowers glow and make your penis be erect for hours. Like, fuck off. That has nothing to do with quantum. Right?
Exactly, it's like listening to spirit science.
Yeah, a lot of people use ether to mean the breath of God or whatever, which inspires the light to move on. Yeah, fuck off. Show me some of that.
Barney,
what can I do?
Know that, just to let you know, Barney, that Patch Boy Spirit Science has moved on to Electric Universe.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he's moved away from the chakras and all that and the space Jews, and he's moved on to Electric Universe now.
I am reticent to even explore Electric Universe. I've talked to Grimby a little bit, and some of it through Gleam, and I did read up a little bit of it. It actually does look into some genuine science, but it does misrepresent it a lot and draws unwarranted conclusions from it. The question remains same as with flat Earth denial of gravity. What is the size of your effect? Does it account for the entirety of the effect? Does it, or are you just saying, oh, I found some possibility, or I found some effect, therefore all is that? And they invoke density. I found buoyancy, therefore gravity is all buoyancy. No, it doesn't work that. And
you are correct.
Electric Universe looks into, draws a lot from the edges of science, from genuine physicists which have fringe ideas, which are exploring and trying to find new ideas, and some of them are very ardently arguing for their ideas, which are not mainstream. That is not to be shushed. It's not to be moved away just because some kook somewhere thinks that it'll make his penis be up for a significant amount of time.
Yeah,
that research is genuine and interesting and useful, and the fact that they use it or misappropriate it is regretful.
Yeah, I need to know, what do John Deere tractors and Electric Universe have in common?
What did you just say?
Is that a setup for a joke?
No. So the first guy who was the first major proponent of Electric Universe used to work for John Deere. He's dead now, but yep.
I'm so confused right now.
Sorry to interrupt, Sean. I gotta bounce, guys. I just want to say good night. And Sean, what a great show, man! You stepped in at the right time. Wow, Gleam and Barney, shout out, great stuff.
Salute.
Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for stopping in.
Pleasure. Later, guys.
If you guys wanted to continue on, that's more than welcome to. I'm in my wrap up.
Sorry, I was making breakfast.
Why? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's 9:30 in the morning in the future.
I guess if it was the future, then I guess you would be correct.
How are you making
Well, guess what? Well, it's the fact that I was in 2020 before you, Sean, so...
You believe you were, but not really.
I know I was.
Nope.
Aha!
The relevant question really is, what is the size of your effect, right? You have found genuine effect. The sun appear closer or more distant than it really is. That's fine. That's perfectly legit, but don't overstate the effect, the size of the effect. we have found that it might be a few inches closer or further away than we thought it was, is not the same. It could be anywhere in the universe. We really don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I do understand that. I do. It's there's a scale, and there was one thing that I see from PBS Spacetime, and they were saying as well. There's this paper that's come out. It's not gone full through the peer review or anything. It's just been put into it. But they're saying that the universe itself may be infinitely smaller than what we originally assumed.
Yeah, they appear to have found negative curvature, which would mean that it's closed enough. It is unbounded, but finite.
Yeah, Barney.
But guess what? You can't fucking see it.
You made that claim on one of my streams a while ago that I wanted to say something about. That negative one, isn't that mean that the universe is going to crunch on itself?
No.
Am I thinking of the wrong one?
Yeah, that's
the negative one is the loop back.
Okay.
If there was no effect of dark energy, then it would that.
Okay, I see.
Curvature.
The only crunching there is when you're eating your Lucky Charms, Sean.
And I haven't eaten anything today on this stream. Yet.
Now,
that's because we lost you for a while there, though, didn't we, Sean?
Don't crunch your Lucky Charms. Get you a good old-fashioned taco shell. That's what the best.
I saw what you wrote in YouTube chat. I'm lost at the moment. Is what you said.
Wait. Have you guys not heard this numerous times? I don't mute myself for that.
Yeah, straight.
You're testing the quintessence of your pipe. Yes, nice.
Yeah, I think what it's more to do with, isn't it, Barney, is the where you've got a flat universe, a saddleback, or a spherical one, and isn't it more going towards the closed universe? Yeah, the spherical one.
I thought it was actually slightly open.
Yeah, it's not a container. What's the container?
Contained. Gravity is what contains it.
Yeah,
no, I'm joking.
Dark matter. Yeah, we could say dark matter, gravitons, tachyons. I mean, which one do you want us to postulate, mate?
Yeah, what type of gravity do you want us to talk about? The push or the pull?
Dell's type.
Well, no, not Bell end.
Push only. Push only.
That's Bell end type, isn't it?
No, but you know that obviously there is gravity, which is the pull, and anti-gravity, which is dark energy, which is the pushing everything apart.
I wouldn't say the same way
I
you
wouldn't.
just did.
Yeah,
but essentially, I guess in the ballpark of how I would interpret that.
I think it's duct tape holding it all together.
Yeah, no balls, no part, Sean.
There is definitely a Home Depot somewhere in the universe. I know it for sure.
Well, how do you think aliens work?
How do they build their ships? And Lowe's and space bullshit. That's complete BS.
They're just them glowy stars that you stick on ceilings, but on the dome.
Yeah, I swear Carlos puts his microphone at one end of his shed and then walks to the other end to speak.
No. Carlos is loud and clear.
Thank you, Sean.
Can you turn your mic down a little bit? It kind of hurt my ears.
To go back to that though, Brian.
Let me just take my earphones off because Carlos just made me fucking deaf.
For real, man. It hurts. Thanks, Carlos.
Sorry, to go back to that, Barney, are you aware of what are the implications of it being a closed planet, a closed universe instead of a flat universe with a tilted edge?
Basically that you continue moving in a straight line in one direction, you would eventually end up where you start.
Yeah, so it is like on the inside of like the concavers. So your con universes.
No, like a balloon.
Like a balloon. but like a
on the inside of it.
Literally, it's called the hypersphere, right? It's a balloon whose surface is not two-dimensional, curved around a three-dimensional ball sphere. It is a three-dimensional surface curved around a four-dimensional ball.
You just confused the
Yeah,
shit out of me.
I can't
Just
imagine
invoked.
it. I'm only 3D creature.
Nobody
he
can
just
imagine
invoked
it.
general relativity there.
Okay.
It's just a statement of Gaussian curvature. You're not supposed to imagine it.
That's it.
You do not have the cognitive tools to imagine four-dimensional objects.
I did do a Troy-like a luminous green grid in my brain, and it looked cool, but yeah, it wouldn't go any further than that. Wouldn't twist.
Are you invoking the Tron grid?
Exactly that. It was the Tron grid. I should have said that. That's exactly what it is.
Because you know what, I reckon some of the electric universe proponents need to start looking at the Tron movies and start getting some of their woo from that.
I reckon there's evidence for it, as in Mortal Kombat. There's a guy who's seen on camera loads of times. You can even play it. You can repeat it. It's observable. It's repeatable. And I think you do summon on the controller, and it shoots out electric from his hands.
Oh, Raiden?
Yeah, that's it, Raiden. You got it.
Yeah, he was overpowered as hell in the latest Mortal Kombat game.
I haven't seen the newest one. It was probably all 3D'd up and everything, isn't it?
Big Trouble in Little China would be the one that I'd go.
Yeah, that is excellent. That is the classic.
Emperor Palpatine.
There's an Electric Universe guy, right?
That's it. Exactly that. They're all wearing Raiden hats as well. Good film.
One thing that I really like about the negative curvature thing is that was one of the first unintuitive things that I figured out when I started technology at all. There is a question, like basically an open question of what are the bounds of the universe, and there are three possibilities. The universe could be finite and bounded. Imagine as though it was a 3D sphere and you're somewhere inside it, and somewhere somewhere there is an edge to it. End of the. So it is finite. It has an edge, and it doesn't go any further than that. So there's not. The other possibility is it's infinite and unbounded, meaning you can go in any direction as far as you want. Doesn't matter. You will never reach an end. There is no end. And those two were kind of clear to me. And the third one was finite and unbounded. And that was an unintuitive. And that's literally described by a balloon. If you take a 2D universe and wrap it around on a balloon, inflate that balloon, there is no edge to the surface of the balloon. You can go in any direction as far as you want. You will never reach edge. Yet that universe has finite surface, and our universe would in that case be the same with volume. You can go in any direction as far as you want, never reaching an edge, but it has finite volume. Eventually, whichever direction you go in, you will end up where you.
Yeah, we'll never find it, Barney. We'll never know, ever.
Oh, this is a big hint that it is that shape.
Yeah, but I could call it the shape of a cigar, and I could be right.
You could.
Like the graviton. I can call it what I want, and I could be right.
It could be that the local curvature of our visible universe is negative, but then somewhere outside of our visible universe, it turns into another direction. It might have a whole superstructure which is above universe size, like above observable universe size. We are aware of. That's a possibility. So it could be negative somewhere and positive somewhere else.
Yeah, so how do you know it doesn't curve?
I have a question. In that conversation of the shape of the universe, wouldn't that then come to the assumption that the universe is in something?
No.
Why? Then what's outside the universe?
There is no outside the universe.
How do you know? What is it growing into then?
It's not growing into anything.
It's not getting larger?
It is.
Into what?
Into nothing.
How is that possible?
Not into rarefied nothing, not into empty space. There is. So, literally.
So wouldn't that mean the universe is in something?
Wait. Look, take a balloon and just bring it down one dimension, right? If you take a piece of paper and imagine little beings who live only in that paper. They have the left, right, they have forward and backward, but they have no up and down, right? They just live in the plane of the paper, right? And they can move throughout that paper anywhere they want. Now, if their paper is flat, it could either have an edge, in which case you would reach an edge and that would be the end of the paper. It could be infinitely large, in which case you could go in any direction as you see fit, or it could be curved. If it is curved, it could be a surface of a balloon, in which case 2 points apart from it can move apart from each other. If you inflate the balloon, if you draw 2 points on those balloons, or draw any number of points and inflate the balloons, all of those points will be moving away from each other. But there will be no into what it is. There is no boundary moving something. There is no surface outside of the surface of the balloon, right? The surface of the balloon is not expanding into some void, some empty surface. It is not filling up some more surface. It is expanding in a completely different direction, 90 degrees to every direction that you.
And correct me if I'm wrong there, but you can never catch up with it either.
And you can never catch up with it either.
Yeah.
If you have any kind of a limit.
Andrea in the chat had a question that I thought was pretty good. She was asking you, Barney, if the whole universe is expanding, will the pressure and the vacuum of space get less and less?
It depends on what dark energy turns out to be. Dark energy turns out to be energy, as in actual energy, the type that conforms to E squared. Then no, because it will get filled in with more and more dark energy, or with more matter, more. But, oh, sorry, can you repeat the question?
I don't like when Barney says "but."
The question was, if our whole universe is expanding, will the pressure in the vacuum of space become less and less?
Oh,
no, because there is no pressure in the vacuum of space.
No pressure in the vacuum of space. Yes.
Yeah, but so it would.
Gotcha. It was a trick question.
Yes,
the universe will continue to make matter.
Could be, if it's that kind of dark energy. If it's just the negative pressure of space that we see, which is making it expand, then no, it'll just make things bigger and bigger at an ever accelerating pace until every single bit of space is moving away from every single bit of space at faster speed of light, in which case no particle, no photon, no nothing will ever interact with against time will cease because there will be no event.
Oh, that's the pop theory.
That's well, yeah, the big rip.
Yeah, they use the same balloon explanation that once it gets so large and so far apart that it just dismantles itself.
Yes,
It
but
shears
that pop
apart
is
due to the force of expansion.
that pop is the slowest pop ever. That the pop itself is going to last significantly longer than the meaningful life of.
Yes, but if you were to speed it up, it would be like popping a balloon. So it expands out so far it pops, and then it contracts into the little remnants of it.
Due to coupling, every form of matter can turn to ultimately photons. When a particle and an entire particle annihilate, they emit photons, more or less. They emit any boson, but depending on the coupling, and it's most likely that everything will turn into photons. Photons are moving at the speed of light unless they are encountering charged particles. They will not be encountering anything. Things that are moving at the speed of light are not experiencing time themselves. So the only time that they can experience is through interaction with other events. They appear and instantly interact with the distant object that they encounter. But if everything is moving far faster than the speed of light, they will never encounter anything again. There will be no events. There will literally be nothing for an eternity.
Yay, buddy!
And then, but then you get conformal geometry, conformal universes of Penrose, who kind of argues, well, there might be effects which are faster than light, which act so minusculely and so slowly that in our time regime they are completely irrelevant, completely indefensible. But in that regime, those would be the dominant forces. And then you would have a completely new regime of time which is conformal to our own, meaning that when you delete the scale numbers, the units, and just replace them with some arbitrary new unit, it looks the same as time. However, what for us is, let's say, a Planck time or a microsecond, what for them would be a microsecond, for us would be trillions upon trillions upon trillions of years. So some other universe, some other reality, some other laws of acting on a completely different time scale could from that, possibly. And Penrose kind of argues that this may have happened times before. That when we talk about the Planck epoch of our universe, the 1 to the minus 36 seconds after the Big Bang, the reason why we can explain it is because they are conformally that there are universes which are acting on the time scale. There may have been entire lifetimes of universes in that time that were happening so much faster and with different force laws of matter from the Big Bang to that minus 30, which we would hardly be able to discern now, which would now be hidden in the mush of Heisenberg uncertainty and all of these quantum phenomena that we observe.
Yeah, you're clipping in and out, Barney.
Remnant. Oh, sorry. Oh, well. Either some of it got through or not. Anyway, look up Penrose's conformal universes.
Yeah, most of it did. You were just cutting out every now and then.
Yeah, so I heard you bringing in the Planck time measurement there.
You gotta get some what again?
And I've actually been looking into the Planck measurements, and it's interesting how the Planck length isn't the same as the Planck time.
No, they're completely different scales. Planck's measurements are just what Planck's best attempt at making the natural units, which are all composed of observable natural phenomena in the universe instead of some arbitrary measure. It's kind of like the formula is E equals mc squared, right? But you can convert it into E equals m, literally, just by picking your units right. If you say that your unit of time is a second and your unit of space is 1 light second, then your c is 1 and c squared is 1. So E equals m.
Wow. Wow. I have said that before on the wing in it and never knew that that was actually correct. I've said, but what if E equals m? And the speed of light is like rest mass. But I've confused two concepts there.
If you pick your units right? Same thing for gravity. Like you have the gravitational constant, the big G, right? That is just the unit conversion. If you pick your units right, if you do Planck units, it is literally m times m over r squared. There is no G. G is 1. And that's what Planck was trying to do with his units, to kind of find a workaround to remove these strange constants cropping up due to our units that have to be adjusted for each unit you use.
Thank you, Barney.
Yeah, salute to you, sir.
Evening, everybody.
Hi, Crash.
Hey, Crash.
How's that pineapple going?
Oh, it's going awesome.
Hey, y'all.
Ah, Miss Pineapple Lumps wrapped in bacon. How are you, Nicole?
Oh, did you try it out, guys?
What was that? No name?
Did you guys make some bacon wrapped pineapple lumps?
We're waiting on some money so I can order the damn things. They're expensive on Amazon.
I know.
Not
here. I was upset about getting addicted to the idea.
So y'all need to help me fund this so I can make them.
Plant your seed, ladies and gentlemen. Plant your seed today, and your investment shall be returned 100-fold.
Maybe some folded bacon over pineapple lumps, but yes.
Bacon I have plenty of because, I slaughter my own damn hogs. So I bet there's 40 pounds of bacon in the freezer. And I know I got 200 plus pounds of whitetail left.
$40 pounds of bacon.
All right, so you got
that would last me about a week. Yeah.
It's about 2 weeks here.
Okay, I guess it's time for me to go to sleep. Thanks, guys, for listening. So charitable and letting me go on and on.
No, it was good, interesting. I learned new things.
Thanks a lot, Barney.
Good night.
See you, Barney.
Later, Barney. Oh, he left already. Mrs. Crash has a question for Digital.
Yes.
I saw something online that there has been a lot of rain over Australia. Any luck on them fires?
Well, okay, so last night I took the dogs out to the toilet because they sleep inside at night, and I saw a red moon and ash coming down over my spotlight out in the backyard. So, yeah, but we have a 63% chance of rain, and there's a massive bit of cloud coming across the Air Peninsula, which will then get to the peninsula that Adelaide is on, and fingers crossed.
Like I said, if your place burns down, you've always got a home here, Digital.
Yeah, but I can't get there if the airport's burnt.
We could put together a raft out of what's left of the burned down logs.
You just have to share a room with no name.
That's okay. I'm his spiritual advisor.
War Eagle.
And spiritual counselor.
Can somebody cancel me on what kind of mic to get?
Yeah, not the one you've got now.
I can give you awesome mic advice, Carlos. Just trust me, I sound great all the time.
I bought one for $5.
Okay, Arwin.
Actually, Carlos, a Full Metal War on my Discord just picked up a new mic. Message him because he got it cheap on Amazon and it works great.
Drop it the link.
Well, are you looking for one that you can just set on like a desk and talk into hands-free?
Yes, I do have a shotgun mic for my camera, which is what I use for my videos. And actually, it works pretty good. I used to preamp from the camera, but I don't have anything for the PC for.
Right, I'm on my phone right now, but the mic that I got, believe it or not, I got it at Goodwill, and it was one of those Rock Band mics that comes with like a PlayStation, you know, or no, what was it, Rock Guitar or Guitar Rock or whatever it's called?
Guitar Hero or
Guitar Hero, yes, yes.
Yeah, the USB mic.
Yeah, and it is amazingly good. It has like the sound quality of a good Shure mic, and I got it for like $1 at Goodwill.
Well, it is made by Sony.
Find a GameStop, bro.
eBay.
Yeah, you can find them on eBay for about $10 now, and they really do have really good sound quality. The actual distance, the actual range isn't so good though, so you're gonna want to talk no less than maybe 6 inches away from it.
Yeah.
But given that, the sound quality is excellent.
Yeah, because it's got a pitch sensitive membrane in it, so it can translate it to the song that you're singing on the game.
Oh, I could play with that so hard.
Is circular reasoning?
Well, maybe.
He was trying to talk to me earlier today. Oh well. Is John Watson still mad at me?
Yeah, you fucker. Yeah, so I can't freeze ants with a fucking magnifying glass by moonlight. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry to crush your dreams.
I went out last night and the moon was on fire, so I don't think there was cold moonlight coming from.
That wasn't the moon.
Oh, well, it was a space station, was it?
I would test that theory, but I'm working on winning the ping pong ball and golf ball bet at the moment.
Oh.
Are you gonna use the vacuum?
Yeah, I ordered a 20-foot section of 1-inch thick PVC pipe or Lexan pipe.
Dang.
That crash.
You can suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Yeah, that was me. I
Cool, man.
John hasn't been here. I dropped my phone in a river Christmas Day, so I'm on my old lady's account.
Oh, the old faithful old lady. Can she make
I'm still
grits?
waiting for my gatekeeper of the truth badge. You said you were going to make one for me.
I've got it all drawn up, and I've got to go see my brother because he's the one that has the embroidery machine. I can do 17 colors on his machine.
Okay.
Oh, dude, he stole that thing. He went to a mall that was going out of business, and the dude was selling it for like $500.
Holy crap!
His price.
Yeah, if it didn't weigh like 1,000,000 pounds, I probably would have already bought it off of him and moved it here, since I'm like the only one that uses the damn thing.
Is that one of those they used to put the stuff on the hats?
Yep, one of the big giant ones. It can do it can do 6 hats or 6 t-shirts at the same time, and it's like the size of a kiosk.
Cracks me up to see those little skinny kids get those flat billfolds and put pains and gains or some stupid stuff wearing the Monster energy drink shirts and the khaki shorts.
Yep.
They're just as punchable as a flat earther.
Well, I don't know about that. They're fairly useful. They can make nice hats, Carlos.
Yeah, or shirts, uniforms. You can make some money off of it.
I'm talking about the kids that wear those flat billfold hats, man.
The no build hats.
Yeah, the
flat
snapback hats. Yeah, snapbacks.
Yes, yeah, those. You know where the visor is flat, like the Earth.
Yeah, I can't have that because then you know the light still comes in and off of the side.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's not about shading yourself. It's about looking cool, guys. Like, come on, you got to get your khakis out.
He's got like 3 fucking cases of frickin' trucker style hats with red bills and the nylon open.
Ah,
there we go.
Redneck Wonderland.
Dun, 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 dun. Somebody call Blue.
So is Barney gone?
Yeah, it's just like 1 a.m. where he is.
Even though I do not show up on the list, I can still hear you.
Fucker.
It's like he's here.
Oh, you came back, Mr. Circular Red Media Reasoning Guide
X.
Thing X.
I don't know about you guys, but I always hear Barney's voice in my head.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I remember in the chat, I replied to Barney saying something, and I went, nah, and Barney goes, I agree.
Wow.
Are we still live?
Yes.
No.
You mean
Which is it?
No.
It's not live.
I don't trust Carlos.
I don't trust any of y'all.
Well, that's okay.
Well, I don't know. Have to go through the definition of live.
This it's gone on for such a long time that people are starting to say, "Is this real life?"
Or is this just fantasy?
Defo is live. Defo is live. I
Or
can
is
hear
this
it. I can
just
feel it.
fantasy?
Easy come, easy go, little high.
No, don't.
Please.
I'm I'm really drunk. If you start doing doing Queen nonsense, I'll start singing, and nobody wants that.
Circular.
I could always sing Cheers Black Denim Trousers from 1963.
We are the champions.
Carlos Pagana.
Yeah, Circular, you say you wanted to talk to me?
Yes, sir, at your earliest convenience.
Well,
Hit me up.
Let me invite you as a friend. Hang on.
Well, that's a strong word.
What, friend or spiritual advisor?
Well, see, that's all a matter of the density vector that you're trying to prove.
Try that again, Carlos.
It worked?
No, try it again.
You didn't see me ring?
Yeah, I did, but it just hung up immediately. I didn't get a chance to push a button.
There they go. Down Lover's Lane.
So much fun watching a man crush develop. So no, I'm going to win the bet with Brian and make a golf ball and a ping pong ball fall at the same rate.
Ah, I know where this comes from.
Shot.
This comes from Dallas Dave.
Go on, Crash. I want to know more. What you gonna do?
I'm building a 20-foot tall vacuum chamber, song ball, and a golf ball, and watch them hit the.
Okay. And actually contained in something or just open air?
In a 20-foot vacuum chamber.
Oh, an actual chamber. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that. Cool.
Yeah, how to have a vacuum in the atmosphere without something to contain the vacuum.
I'm the last person to bet that you can't do something or build something. I can find a way to build just about anything.
Don't actually doubt that at all.
The next step is me and Digital and No Name need to get together so we can set this world record for the fastest toilet.
Yes, we need the speed toilet. Yes.
Well, there was a low record. It was only like what, 50 mile an hour, 45 mile an hour,
35 mile, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to sort out the fast internet first.
Oh no! We have to get toilet speed before you can have fast internet, mate.
That's because I live in the middle of nowhere, Gleam.
I'm joking.
No, I'm not joking. If we can get the shit faster, if we can get the shit faster, you'll get it down the internet faster.
Talking of fast toilets, have you heard of a bum gun?
Oh, what?
What?
You just piqued Crash's interest.
It's one of my friends work. Well, he's dead now actually, but he used to work in the Middle East, and in fact, it was no, it wasn't. It was Qatar or somewhere, and he came back to Scotland and announced that he wanted to get a bum gun installed in his bathroom. What the fuck's a bum gun? And apparently it's like a little shower head next to the toilet that you know.
It's a bidet.
No, it's like a.
I just googled it. It's like the redneck version of a bidet. It hangs next to the toilet.
It's like a shower head with a flexible hose that you just grab and never
make your
tried
bum
one,
wetter than it was.
Well, that depends.
I mean, I don't do number 2 to get the wet bum. I aim to not get that happen.
You want to avoid poop splash.
That's right. So why would I want to wet it more?
Sorry, I'm kind of sorry I brought this up now.
Oh, there will be many a meme made on this now.
Yeah, I am very, very drunk. But yeah, I was going to say, Gleam, it's obviously a pleasure of mine to be on a live chat with you, but unfortunately, I'm a bit
Yeah, no
what's
problem.
aware.
I think we've gone into the depth of the debate anyway. I think Sean's just on the telephone or something to work.
With
Yeah,
Poop
he's
Splash.
on a phone call.
Yeah, and then I reckon he's going to be wrapping up. I don't know. I am in a minute. I've been on here for an hour or two, maybe. How long's it been going? Two.
About
Yeah.
about 2 hours. I had to take care of something, so I just got a chance to jump in here.
That's it. Yeah, I ain't even had any food yet. It's 20 to 12.
Sorry about that, guys.
Curiosity.
Eating's cheating, Gleam.
Curiosity.
Congratulations,
What else can we do
Sean.
with the 20-foot tall? What else can we do with the 20-foot tall vacuum chamber? And congrats, Sean.
Yeah, no clue what you said.
Wow, Sean, if you get some money, can you buy Crash like
the internet?
something?
Yeah. I'll buy you a Big Mac so you can go to McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I was on a very, very important phone call. I couldn't let that one go.
I have something blue with wheels that Sean's buying when he gets money.
Damn right. Well, at that point,
fast toilet.
If all works out well with my my bidding and the end result, I'm gonna want something completely custom.
That's not a problem. I can build you anything you want.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah,
As long as it has a toilet.
Yeah, I did get the end of that conversation. We're gonna go ahead and end. I'm gonna go ahead and end out the stream. I'm gonna be back in here though and conversate. I did want to say right off the bat, Gleam, I appreciate you coming on, man. I enjoy having a conversation with you. It's a little difficult for others coming from he has to be making a claim type side, but I know you're not. So, like I said, I do appreciate you coming in and expanding the think tank, basically.
Yeah, salute to you. Thanks for letting me in either way. And I do rub people up the wrong way, and you see me in chat, I'm just blatant and I'm raw. But at the end of the day, I'm not unreasonable, and I'm not claiming that I know everything or anything. It's just want to debate.
You are more than welcome to be here. And if you ever want to do a monologue, or you just got something you got to get off your chest, or some type of this platform is yours as well.
Yeah, salute for that. Salute.
Yes. Thank you, sir. John, I know you got in here a little late, but I know you're feeling good, so it doesn't matter. But I appreciate you coming in.
I was just going to say to Gleaming, I think we would get on a lot better just having a bit of a chat rather than the to and fro that we usually have. Not actually talking to each other.
Exactly that. Text always comes off as a different tone, and I'm sick to death of speaking with people in order to make it sound nice like that. I just put out what my mind says, and
I'm trying to be
fire.
I'm trying to be really abusive.
Don't get the wrong impression. No. No, that's just Scottish. It's no worries.
Yeah. I've actually found Gleam to be a bit more coherent in what he's trying to entail. His understanding of what we deal with is, whereas 6 months or so ago it was all over the place.
Well, we all
that's just my opinion.
Way of critiquing things. It happens. We're going to wrap this up. Metal, thank you for stopping in. I know you've been coming in a lot, so I do appreciate that, my friend. Crash. Your Crash. Yep. Nicole's there. Bye, Nicole.
Yep.
Hey, Sean.
No name. You know I love you, man. You know earlier, you know what that was about. That wasn't personal. It was fun. You know it.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
I get a little heated sometimes, and I, might jump the gun a little bit.
Yeah, I know it's all good fun. I know you. You're not a disrespectful person. You're not doing it on purpose. So, regardless, you know where we stand. I don't have to explain that shit. Fuck you. Sean, thank you for stopping in. I know you said you're in the office. I'm so sorry, my friend. I know you're hating life right now.
I got out a little while ago, but I was just listening in because I was, basically just going over everything Gleam and Barney had said. And, I was just sitting there learning. That's it.
Well, good fun. I hope everyone got this. I'm gonna go ahead and mute out, guys. You guys want to hear the rest of my spiel? You know where to go. Go back to the YouTube page. But I'm gonna go ahead and mute up, and then I'll be back as soon as I end the stream.
Yep.
Oh, did I say anything to you, Davros?
Apart from thank you when I congratulated you, but that was it.
Oh well, thank you for congratulating me. But you were mildly correct on a few things today, so I'm happy for you.
Cheers, thank you. I appreciate your correctness in my little bit of correctness.
I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Yeah, today I would rate today as one of the best streams in a long time. Again, you guys may not agree with a lot of what people say. Well, it's exactly what others do to us or to either side. It's a lot of people want this to be a cut and dry conversation. You're right, I'm wrong. Here's why, we're done. And it's really not, doesn't work that way ever. Science in itself doesn't come to the conclusions they come to that way. Think tanks are what science backs its whole being on. So to think that someone who's putting out an idea is ridiculous, nonsense, or needs to be not heard is insane. That's exactly what science encompasses. Questioning, wanting to know more, throwing out your 2 cents, understanding this, that, blah, blah, blah. So the idea that someone wants to cut and dry a conversation, that's good and all for your conversation. But when you're on a live stream and people want to understand things, learn things, hear things out, a full explanation is necessary, right or wrong. The cutting people off thing, it's not so much. I get that. I do it myself. I mean, I'm guilty of it 100%. But what happens is you cut someone off, another person cuts that person off, blah, 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 blah. And it just becomes, the clusterfuck that it does. In the sense of letting someone hear everything out is better to me. I think we all can attest that to Big Blue's debate on Jose's other night. Remember, if someone is wrong, no matter how long you give them to discuss that topic, it's not going to change anything. It will give you more of a point to what you want to say, or better yet, let them damage their own argument. Cutting off, getting personal, implementing that how wrong they are from the start, all that does end the conversation and ends everything. Like I said, I actually knew very little about the conversation we were talking about today. So hearing Gleam's idea of what's going on, Barney's, and everyone else's puts me in a spot where now I have my notes. I can go down and I can start researching the links that were given, the ideas that were given to us, and go from there. That's all this is. This is not a platform for this is right, this is wrong. This is a platform for this is what you should look up. This is what you should understand. This is what you should want to understand. And that's all it is to it. Again, guys, I do appreciate everyone for joining me here, everyone in the chat, everyone that joined the panel. I will be live tomorrow. Not sure if anyone kind of got wind. Everyone in the Discord knows, but I just landed a really big contract that I've been trying to get for a month or two now. So I'm pretty excited about that. So tomorrow I'm going to be live. It's going to be open topic, but I'm just going to want to BS and bullshit and laugh it up because that's the kind of mood I'm in now. I may go live later on. I'm not sure. I kind of want to, but I know Jose is going to be live and I don't want to step on his feet. So guys, again, I may see you tonight. I mean, you guys are going to see me everywhere. I'm always in Discord's chats, so you guys will see me. But not sure about the live, but live tomorrow for 100% on just a good old hangout, have fun, bullshit with the friends. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate it. Love y'all. Peace.